Namaste, Yogis. I'm Chintamani Cloud, and it's great to see you back. Today's practice will be a 30-minute gentle flow so that yogis who are short on time and looking for a soft and sweet practice will find something they need here. This practice can be modified or will leave room for modifications if you need to, if you've got any pains or injuries in the body. This practice gives room to beginner yogis to explore poses, and it also creates a space for more vigorous yogis who are needing a rest day to find a place on their mat. We'll meet in a standing position today, and we'll come into our breath together and our alignment together as we prepare to practice. I look forward to seeing you there. Namaste. We'll get started in a standing position. If you need a little bit more balance, you can separate your feet wide apart as I'm demonstrating here. And then we want to make sure we have even and equal weight distribution between the left and the right side of our body. We're also going to stand up tall, and that's going to invite us to draw in through our core to lengthen our spine. And we're going to tuck our tailbone under to bring our hips forward and to start to learn to engage our glutes. And we're going to try to take all that awareness with us even as we move through this gentle sequence today. Now I'm going to turn my palms to face out, and I'm going to try to bring my thumbs back behind me, and this is to help widen my shoulders apart and keep them from rolling forward. And now we'll start to do some deep breath work with some movements. Inhaling our arms up, take a deep breath in. Exhale, retrace that circle. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhaling, we'll lift the arms up. Exhaling to release. Retrace that circle. We'll do that 1 more time. Inhaling to draw the arms up. And exhale to retrace that circle. Now we're going to keep the right hand alongside the body. We're going to inhale just the left arm up, and we're going to exhale over towards the right. Deep in sound breathing here for 2 more breaths. And 1 more. Then we get to inhale to lift up and exhale to release. We'll come into second side. Right palm turns out. Inhale to lift the arm up. Exhale to reach over. And so we're actually reaching down instead of over. And that's why we keep this other hand by our leg here, and we can try to reach down for 2 more breaths. And then we can inhale the arm up and exhale to release, inviting a little bit more movement now. We'll turn the palms to face out. We'll inhale the arms up, and we're going to dive forward. Exhale. We're going to hold for 3 breaths. We're going to remember to release the neck and head right away. And now let's start. Inhaling slowly and evenly in through the nose if we can. Exhaling slowly and evenly out through the nose if we can. Always looking back behind us, trying to get to a place where we can bring the palms down. We'll go ahead and come back up to standing. Let your arms dangle forward, shoulders too. And now as we exhale, we'll lift the shoulders up and roll them back behind us, turning our palms to face out. Next inhale breath, we'll lift our arms up. And now we're going to let our hands touch. Exhale, heart center. And then even and equal weight distribution between the right and left side of your body. We're pushing into our palms and our wrists, and we're lifting our elbows up to get a stretch through the hands, the wrists, and forearms. 1 more breath here. And let's exhale to release. Now we're going to come into some shoulder work. We're going to inhale the right arm up. And we're going to exhale as we bend at that right elbow, patting ourselves on the back. We can inhale the left arm up too. And exhale, we're going to find that elbow, and we're going to start to come into that stretch. And we need to anchor this stretch by drawing in through our ribs and navel, by tucking our tailbone under and finding our glutes, and then by making sure that this shoulder is staying locked in the girdle and not lifting up towards our ears or cramping up towards our chin. We'll go ahead and inhale the arms up to straighten them out, and exhale to release. Getting ready for that tricep stretch on the second side. Inhaling, left arm lifts up. We pat ourselves on the back. Inhaling, right arm lifts up. When we exhale, as we find the elbow and start to find the stretch along the tricep and the left arm, keeping the shoulder in the shoulder girdle as we tug that elbow in towards the tension through a deep inhale and exhale. 1 more breath here. Inhaling to lift our arms up. We're gonna exhale to release our hands down. Keep moving. Let's inhale the arms up, turn the palms out, look up. Dive forward, exhaling. So it's okay if our hands don't touch. You can bring your hands to your calves or your shins, excuse me, or your calves. It's okay to pull back, pull on your calves or have your hands resting on your shins. Fingers can come to the floor or a block, or maybe your palms are reaching down, and in time the feet get closer and closer together. It's okay for you. They stay wide apart the whole practice. Let's aim for 2 more breaths here, really releasing the neck and head for this longer hold. And now we'll inhale to lift up. Let the arms dangle forward, the shoulders too. Exhale, draw the shoulders back behind you. Turn your palms out. Inhale the arms up. And exhale, retrace that circle. And we'll get it ready for a squat here. We'll start off with just bringing our hands to our waist for our measurements. We'll check in with the feet. They can be closer together for the balanced yogis, but for some of us working with tension in the hips and with our balance, we can keep them wide apart like this. Now we need to keep this tailbone tucked under as we've been cueing. The ribs and navel are drawing in, the glutes are engaged, the quads too, to help us stand up tall when we tuck that tailbone under, and we want to roll the shoulders back behind us. And now we'll release the arms down, turn the palms to face out. Feel those shoulders widening apart. Inhale your arms up and pause right here. Take another breath here, really stretching out your arms. Exhale, bend at your elbows. Now we'll come to cactus arms and pause here. Take an inhale breath, and we're gonna stay here. We're gonna try to bend the knees as we exhale. And we're gonna resist the temptation to duck butt it out, and we're gonna keep this alignment of tucking the tailbone under, drawing the ribs and navel in, feeling this in the glutes, the quads, even your shins, your calves, and your ankles and feet. One more breath here. I'm gonna invite us to stand up tall, inhale, and exhale, draw your hands down to hearts, down towards your sides and release. If you wanna shake that out, feel welcome to. A little movement's always good, or shoulder rolls are my favorite. We'll do 2 more. And 1 more. Now we'll take a forward fold to cleanse between practices. We'll turn our arms to face out, inhale the arms up, and another dive forward. So we've talked about all the things we need to pay attention to. Releasing the neck and head, deep and sound breathing. Maybe the hands are around the legs towards the calves, pulling you down or resting on your shins. It's great if they can touch the floor, or maybe you use a block or your pillow. Releasing the neck and head, 1 more breath. And then we'll go ahead and come up to standing. The arms are gonna dangle forward. We're gonna create an exhale to lift the shoulders up and back and turn the palms out. Inhale to lift the arms up. And this time we'll go ahead and bring our hands down to heart center, Samasthiti. Get that stretch again through the wrists, forearms, fingers, and release. All right, now we're gonna come towards the back edge of our mats. I'm gonna bring my hands towards my waist, shoulders roll back, elbows too. We're gonna step those left toes out, and you can even take a little bit of a step forward on your mat with your left foot, letting your toes turn either on a diagonal so that they're pointing towards the edge of your mat, or if you've got the flexibility to fully externally rotate, that's the full alignment, and anywhere in between is your work on the journey towards that external rotation. So you can start here and see where you're at. Step that right foot forward now. Pull the right hip back, draw the left hip forward, roll the shoulders and elbow back, and we wanna tuck the tailbone under. We wanna make sure we're not arching out. We tuck the tailbone under. That draws in our engagements of the system of the core. So we can use this to stabilize our lower back, our hips and shoulders. We're gonna extend our arms down to our sides. Now we're gonna turn our palms in, but keep those shoulders widening apart, and inhale your arms up. And now we've been here for a couple of breaths, but we're adding the arms for 2 more breaths. And then we can go ahead and inhale to straighten out the right leg. Exhale, hands to your waist. Heel toe your left foot in. Come off of the heel when you're ready, and you can step the back foot forward to meet the front foot. And we'll get ready, coming back to the back edge of your mat for our second side. On this step, we'll step the right foot forward, and remember, and it could be different on each side of your body, but first stage is towards the edge of the mat. Second stage is out, full expression is fully externally rotated. And so anywhere between the diagonal point of the edge of the mat to that full external rotation is okay too. So we'll start with a right toe stepping out, and then big step with the left foot. We pull left hip back, we draw right hip forward, we get the deep stretch in the front side of our right hip. As we anchor through our core system by tucking our tailbone under, we get to engage all the glutes, minimus, maximus, the outer glutes too, the deep core, the surface core, the obliques, pulling in through the psoas here. We extend our arms, we help pull our shoulders out wide, and then we get ready to inhale our arms up for 2 more breaths. Firmly fixing the gaze somewhere on the floor in front of you. 1 more breath. Then we inhale to straighten out the leg. Exhale, hands to hips. Heel toe that back foot in. Come off of the right heel. And then step that right foot forward up to meet the left. And then we'll meet again at the front edge of our mats. All right, Love Warrior 1, really helping us to open up some areas of tension in the body. Okay, now we're gonna step the feet wide apart, and we're gonna get ready for some forward folds with feet wide apart. I definitely love to cue blocks, but I know for our home practice, many yogis might not have blocks, so I'll invite people to use blankets. Or better, if you have towels that are about the same size, you can roll them all up and get ready for them to be under your hands here. So we're gonna inhale our arms out to the sides, wide-legged forward fold, and exhale, we're gonna try to touch the floor. If our hands can't come to the floor, you can pause here reaching, stay here for as long as you can, and come out early if you need to. Or your hands can be on those supports like we talked about. If your hands are able to come down, either on fingertips or palms, now we need to release the neck and the head back behind us. And now we're gonna keep walking the hands or fingertips back behind us. And we're gonna try to fold the torso in towards the legs for 2 more breaths. And then we're gonna walk the hands back forward. Take an inhale breath. Exhale, heel toe the feet closer together. Bend at your knees. Inhale, bring hands to the waist. Exhale, come up to standing. Roll those shoulders back. And we'll step the feet together to shake it out. We'll come into a standing balancing posture now. And this is to help us really strengthen. So we're gonna really cultivate all the alignment cues we've been talking about here. Standing up nice and tall, drawing the belly in, all points of the belly, tucking the tailbone under, finding the glutes from the back out to our hips, and we'll bring our hands to our waist. And the feet are gonna be as close together as we can with good understanding. We'll ground down through the left foot and we'll lift off of that right heel. You can stay right here, paying attention to these outer muscles. Did we lose them and disengage? We wanna bring back in. We wanna try to lift this hip and knee up. And now if you can point the toes on that right foot, or if we can lift the foot off the floor any amount, maybe even hold here for 2 more breaths. Wherever you are, you're gonna breathe deeply, drawing the core in, keeping the glute engaged on your left side, trying to firmly fix the gaze. We'll lower the foot if you haven't already, and we'll walk that out through the heels. Getting ready for our second side. We're gonna ground down through the right foot now as we lift off of the left heel, drawing in through all of our anchors. Now we can maybe get to a point of pointing the toes and even floating the foot off the floor. If that doesn't work for you, keep the toes on the floor. Or if you need to do 1 breath only with it lifted before you fall out, that's okay too. 2 more breaths wherever you are. Drawing in through the core, drawing in through the bandhas. That's a Sanskrit word for these anchors, and we release. And then we can shake that out, and I like to do a little self-massage. So we use our palms. We're tracing our femurs from the hips to the knees, pushing down on those large quadriceps. Okay, and some shoulder rolls as we come back up to standing. Getting ready for our next standing posture. We're gonna step the feet wide apart once again, inhaling our arms out to the sides. We're gonna exhale and bring our hands back behind us. And you see I bent my elbows to find my fingers, so you might have to do the same. And then if you make a fist, start out with using the fist just to pull your arms straight and help pull your shoulders back. But eventually we all wanna be in this shape here where we're not in a fist, where the wrists are wide apart and you're actually using your fingers to hold on to each other in this shape, okay? It's gonna strengthen our hands and our wrists. So we're gonna use that as we stretch. So we're gonna take an inhale breath here, and as we exhale, we're gonna come into a forward fold. Now your feet can stay really close together. They can stay just as they are, or if you wanna widen them apart, when you come forward, you can heel toe them apart. And we're just gonna try to get those hands to come towards the floor as we slowly start to bring the head down too. Deep and sound breathing for 2 more breaths. Come out early if you need to, okay? Now we're gonna bring our hands back to our lower back. Heel toe your feet in closer together if you need to for support. Bend at your knees, and then we'll go ahead and inhale to lift up. And exhale to release. Good. Roll that out through the shoulders as you step your feet in closer together. Okay, deep and sound breathing. Getting ready for the next stage of our practice now. We're gonna get a little deeper into the hips as we come towards the floor. So we'll all make our way toward the front edge of our mat. And I'm gonna invite us to use a blanket or a towel as a knee guard. And I might end up having to move this, but you can, and you might too. We're guesstimating where our knee is gonna land, and we're gonna come stand towards the front edge of the mats. Now you can do this without blocks, but because I have blocks, I'm gonna love demonstrating with them because it can really enhance the experience of your lunge. So getting ready here, we're gonna find our stability. It's okay if the feet are a little wide apart. We roll those shoulders out. We turn the palms out too. Inhale, we'll draw our arms up and we're gonna get ready to dive forward as we exhale. And then we can try to breathe here. As we inhale, we'll lift our hands towards the blocks. And as we exhale, we're stepping the right foot back and dropping the right knee down. And as we first drop the knee down, we're not gonna be feeling the stretch in the front side of the hip until we can bring these hips forward. But this isn't gonna be comfortable on the left leg, so what we need to do now is crawl those left toes forward a lot. And not several feet over the yoga mat, but just quite a bit so that then you can bend into your left knee, and I'll move my blocks so that you can see for a moment here. Bending into the left knee, it's starting to straighten out the right leg. It's not completely straight, but it's starting to, and I'm getting quite a deep stretch here in the front side of that right hip and quad. So we can be here with hands on the floor, but if we have blocks, it gives us a little bit more room to tuck the tailbone under and draw the belly in. And you can still aim for that if you're not using blocks with our fingertips. We can try to stay really lifted, push into our fingertips to help keep our chest from crashing into that left thigh for one more breath. And then we're gonna come out of the lunge. I'm gonna walk my hands back as I peel my toes off of the mat. But now I need to get my left heel to come forward so that I'm not crashing into my hips here. I'm still staying lifted. And these toes can be curled under or pointed. You're probably wondering. So maybe a few breaths in either alignment. We'll take an inhale here and we're gonna do 3 full breaths in a fold. And one more breath. And then we can inhale as we lift up and start to draw the foot in, and exhale as the knee comes back behind us. Getting ready for our second side. I'm going to turn and demonstrate from this side. So I'm going to be demoing from our second side. We're going to step our right foot forward now, fingertips on the floor or on a block, and crawl those toes forward so that you can straighten out that back leg and start to get the same stretch now on the front side of the left hip. We want to make sure when our hands are so close to the ground without blocks, it really unfortunately brings our chest too close to this front leg. So what we actually can do is even bring our hands off of the floor if that's possible, if you don't have blocks, is one good thing. And you can feel how that really invites the expanse of the stretch in the front side of the hip. Or we can have our hands on those blocks, or with our hands pushing into the floor, then try to lift the chest off of the thigh as you tuck the tailbone under and draw your ribs and navel in for one more breath. And then we're gonna walk our hands back. We're gonna start to straighten out this right leg, and our toes are gonna heel forward, or our toes are gonna crawl forward as we bring them, and then we can bring the heel forward to draw the toes back to get that stretch in the back of the calf and the hamstring here. And we'll take another inhale breath and another exhale breath here, and one more. And now I'm pushing into my hands to help draw my foot in. And then I'm gonna pull my foot all the way back and be standing on the knees. And we can shake it out here. And we'll come into a tabletop position. We'll move through some cat-cow tilts. Inhaling to look up. Exhaling to look down. Inhaling as we look up. We're creating a back bend here. And here we're creating forward compression. Nice stretch in the shoulders. Inhale here. And last one, exhale. And then we're gonna come into a brief child's pose. We're gonna bring the heels to the hips. If you need to, you can fold your knee guard over as a place to bring the head down. If you need more support, use your yoga blocks, use a book. Or and we're gonna try to come into this pose without the hips leaving the heels. So if you come into this posture, but as you start to journey into it, your hips lift off of your heels, we need to reassess. But if your hips are coming down towards your heels, then you bring your head towards the floor or a block. If you don't need a block, that's great, but we want to make sure that we're not misunderstanding our needs. We want to make sure that the hips are able to come towards the heels to bring our head towards the floor. So if you didn't need a block, then you want to be here for 2 more breaths, and I'm going to just cue another option for those of us who have any knee pain. And that's what we can do if we have any knee pain in our child's poses. We're going to fold our towel or our blanket, and we're going to stuff it here in behind the thighs and the knees. And then if you have blocks or if you don't have blocks, bringing your hands forward, try to keep the hips close relatively with that support there, and try to create this rounding of the spine to bring the head towards another pillow or towel or blocks. And I have many yogis that have to do this with really high blocks, and they only then stay here for 1 breath, okay? So we're going to come out of the pose now. If you've been holding and enjoying a long child's pose with your head near the floor, great. If you've had to do a few breaths in a little bit of a challenging alignment, that's great too. Good work. We're all going to lift up on an inhale and get ready to spiral over onto a seated position. So from this position here, we bring our hands to one side. Our hips are going to follow, and then our legs and feet come forward, and we can shake our legs out. Okay, from here, we're going to draw this right foot in, and we're going to open the right knee out. And as always in the practice, we've got different levels that I'm cueing towards. So some of us have a little bit of pain in the hip. We can prop up maybe with just a towel. But if some of us have more pain, we can prop this knee up really high as you need to make this pose accessible to you. So making sure that the hips are nice and even. Maybe your foot doesn't draw all the way in, but we're going to get a nice stretch in this outer hip and thigh. We're going to square our shoulders off towards this extended left leg on an inhale breath, and we're going to use our exhale breath to come forward. Maybe the hands touch the foot. Maybe they have to stay on the floor. If you want to be a little bit more intentional, maybe you hold your own leg at some point to pull yourself down for 2 more breaths. We're going to inhale to lift up and exhale to roll those shoulders back. Inhale to draw this right knee up. Exhale, we're going to see if we can cross this right foot across the left thigh. If we get to a place where the knee wants to fall over and the foot doesn't touch, we could place a towel under the foot so that then we're more of in this position here with the foot on the towel. But we want to get to a place where the foot is facing the floor or the towel, and then you can bring your left hand to your right knee to help draw this right knee up while this right hip is pushing into the floor. Then your right hand is coming back behind you, and you're going to take use it to push yourself up tall as you inhale and twist as you exhale. We'll do 2 more breaths here. Inhaling, lengthening the spine. Use the exhale towards the twist. 1 more breath. And we're going to inhale up to center, casual turn as we exhale, and inhale to lift back up, and exhale to release. Getting ready for that set sequence on the second side. Inhaling, left foot draws in, exhale, left knee out. Adjust with towels or blocks. Keep the hips square, open the foot away from the thigh any amount. Square ourselves off over the extended right leg as we inhale, and exhale as we come forward. Maybe hands touch the foot, they stay on the floor, or they grab the leg. We want to look at the knee. We want to make sure we're not looking at the screen so that we can relieve ourselves of the tension that happens when we're always holding that neck up in this kinked position. So we're going to go ahead and look down at the knee, maybe even look in towards our own navel for 2 more breaths. And then we'll go ahead and inhale to lift up, and exhale as we roll those shoulders back. Okay, we're going to draw that left knee in. Cross the foot over the right leg. Right hand to left knee, left hand back behind us. The inhale lengthens our spine. The exhale takes us into the twist. The neck doesn't have to be incorporated, only if that's comfortable for you. And you can even steer your gaze towards the corner of your eye if you want to go in that direction. 2 more breaths. And then we'll inhale to lift up. We're going to do a brief counter stretch as we exhale. And then inhale to lift up, and we get to shake our legs out in front of us. One more dynamic stretch for the hips here. We're gonna bring the soles of the feet together and widen the knees apart. This could take blocks underneath both your knees. I still recommend this posture if you're in this position. So we're gonna bring our hands back behind us, rolling the shoulders towards the spine. We're gonna engage our abdomen. And we especially need to bring these engagements on board if we're feeling any tension in our joints, because this is what's gonna help us to align correctly and safely with the right anchors. So we wanna stay engaged. We call our hands out to the side. This helps us find more engagement. Feeling the core engage here to sit up tall. Maybe even float your hands off the floor and you'll really feel it. 2 more breaths. Now we're gonna bring our hands to our feet. We're gonna still try to stand up tall. Inhale, breath lengthens the spine. Exhale, breath takes us forward any amount. And now I'm actually using my hands, holding my feet, pulling them apart, not in close together, but while I pull them apart, I pull down towards them, opening up. And this is what's creating the deep stretch here for me. Maybe for you, you're tight enough that a subtle movement invites the stretch. Some of us are gonna be moving in towards it, developing strength as we develop flexibility to bring our face towards the floor for 1 more breath. And then we get to lift up as we inhale, and exhale as we roll the shoulders back, lifting the knees up, and we'll shake them out in front of us. You can shake your legs out too. Okay. Now we're gonna get ready to lay onto our backs. So we're gonna bend at our knees, bring the soles of our feet towards the floor, shimmy up towards the front edge of your mat if you need to. You can do this with core strength, rolling all the way down, or if you're worried about your lower back, touch elbows down while engaging the core. Keep the core engaged as you roll your head down. We'll go ahead and draw the feet now in even closer towards the hips, and really feel welcome to widen them beyond hips distance apart, especially if you're newer to the practice or if you have any tension in your lower back. This will really help alleviate that. And this is a good back bend for those of us who do have a sensitive lower back, as it invites us to in a perfect alignment of the lumbar. So we're gonna push the lower spine, middle spine, upper spine, including the neck, into the floor. Shoulders are rolling back. If you need help with that, you could turn your palms to face up, pull those shoulders back, and now see if you can move your arms without moving your shoulders. Good. And now keeping that engagement here, hopefully you haven't lost it. The tailbone is tucking under. Do you feel your glutes? Do you feel your hamstrings? We're gonna keep going with that. Keep tucking to lift those hips up. We're gonna push into the hands, the shoulders, the neck, the head, the feet. But we're gonna remember, draw that core in. Draw that core in. Squeeze through the glutes. Squeeze through the glutes. Get those hips up. 1 more breath. And exhale. Keep the engagements with control. We bring the spine back in towards the floor. Lower back, middle back still pushing in towards the floor. We take the feet off. We hug the knees in towards the chest. Good. And now we're going to widen the knees apart and hug them in again, holding around the thighs. Modified happy baby. If you've got full happy baby, feel welcome to grab those feet, get into a nice squat. You can even roll from side to side as long as we're keeping the spine drawing in towards the floor. Okay. Then we'll go ahead and lift the feet up towards the ceiling here. We're gonna keep this awareness, pushing in towards the floor, pushing in towards the floor. We're gonna go ahead and give ourselves a couple ankle rolls, rolling right and left foot in and out. And then we're gonna go ahead and point those toes. Inhale here. Exhale, go ahead and flex. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale, flex. Keep drawing the core in. Inhale. And exhale. This next one, we're going to inhale. And now pull just the toes back if you can for a floint. And release. Shake it out. We'll go ahead and bend at the knees. And bring the feet back towards the floor. For our last posture together, I'd like to invite us into a yin pose. You could take traditional shavasana, and if you ever have any pain in your lower back when you come into a traditional shavasana, you can take pillows that are matching in size, blankets or towels that are matching in size, or if you've got blocks, roll them up and place them high on the thighs to extend your legs. If you want to try a little bit more of an opening yin posture to close a practice, bring the soles of the feet together and have the knees widen apart. Arms can be alongside the body with the palms facing up, or if you've got the room, Extend your arms into a T, bend at your elbows, and really release through the shoulders here and the hips as you lengthen your spine along the floor. Wherever you are in your practice, this is where we're going to close the eyes to draw the gaze within and take 2 more cleansing breaths. A nice deep inhale and exhale. If you want to sigh out the mouth, a nice deep inhale and exhale. From here, let your breath begin to shallow so that there's very little movement in the body. Stay as long as you're able to in this resting posture today. And once you're feeling the body's really calm, only then reintroduce movement back into the body. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Namaste.